This is Veronica Starr. I'm just going to record this for Grizzy, just in case he doesn't feel like introducing me again. Grizzy, I know it can be hard introducing your ex. There's no hard feelings here, old chum. You were wonderful, it just wasn't meant to be. Anyway, this is episode 2 of Veronica Starr by Lane McLeod Jackson. Name, please, he asks with professional adoration. You don't recognize me, sweetie, I respond, pushing down my solar lenses. He looks up, and I confirm the man hasn't a clue. But obviously, such humanity is something the front desk of an intersolar casino can't possibly admit. A bright smile covers his face. Of course I do. However, you didn't tell me your name last time. Or was it, you gave me a fake one? Michael, I respond with his name, and note the fleeting surprise at my knowledge. We didn't meet under business, and it wasn't here. He raises his eyebrow now. Busted. He knows it's a lie. Well, we all play games, I wink back. Veronica Starr, I believe you're expecting me? He hits a few buttons, and his certainty fluctuates. You didn't cancel. He's hopeful. Most certainly not. But I have a growing suspicion that a certain useless intern needs clarity. Verify who made the actual cancellation, please. I want the name and the sector where it originated. Michael nods, unsure of that, but also, it's an 800,000 unit diamond I've begun playing with on my finger. Commodore Talleyrand nearly arrested me when I messaged over that receipt. Something about a treasonous waste of public funds. But it has proven very useful in establishing my ridiculously wealthy party girl bona fides. So really, Commodore No Fun has no cause to complain. But of course, Michael click-clacks away, and I gently touch the underside of my finger before pressing my hidden echo stenograph against the counter. The vibrations record, interpreting the rhythms of our world into a guesstimated scene. I'll examine the data later, but it should be able to recreate at least the keystrokes, possibly some images, if I can compare it to the light reflecting off his glasses. That's why I chose this adorable little geek. I'm sorry, Miss Starr. Whoever did the cancellation contacted our service directly. This was an internal memo. Ah, Christoph. I shook my head. He always goes above and beyond, even when he's being an idiot. Oh, Barry! The world pitched as my loyal butler moved his 3/4-ton body and his left trunk dropped my bags. Michael, Barry, this is Michael. No, be nice. Michael, this glorious man is my personal valet. All communication shall go through him, including reservations, personal messaging, even, and please don't blush when I tell you this because you seem a very innocent, any gentleman or lady callers. If they are not in my presence specifically, they must charge through Barry. This vacation is for relaxation. You will make sure that we shan't be interrupted, won't you, Michael, dear? Of course. I clock the sarcasm, though most wouldn't. He is one of the quite rebellious. Better keep an eye on all 4 of his. Let's switch my room, though. He booked a suite with a nebulant adjacent wall. I swear, if Christoph wasn't so beautiful, he'd be insulation. Barry, help Michael make me happy. I'm off to the pool. I spin and catch in one of the infinite reflection walls, for the entrance has enough gold and silver to make an ancient pharaoh blush. Michael takes an opportunity for a glance. Good boy. I do walk toward the pool, but avoid a direct path. 2 things need to be tested. Am I currently being followed? And has a message gone from the desk to elsewhere mentioning my destination? I wasn't able to extract much information from my former Kruxtai friends. The old colony queen had been executed in a coup. One of the primary reasons was her refusal to betray me. I was tempted to destroy the entire eco-suit, but that would have meant upwards of 500,000 innocent lives. and I wouldn't do that unless absolutely necessary. So instead, once we landed on a smuggler's moon, I had the colony conduct a quick trial and banish the government, with enough individuals so that they could maintain sentience. And I stored the exiles in one of the local ant farms to await trial. They hated that term, which is amusing to me because I hate it when people try to kill me. As I saunter towards the watery delight, the facts are as follows. 1. Whoever is trying to kill me, they have money and connections. The trade route offered to the Cracksty come with very specific details, notarized by the Nebula Consortium and People's Cooperation. Neither of those take kindly to false documents. Our union once had to go to war with the Cooperation because a few dumb moons faked a financial treaty using their name. Banks and mobs have one thing in common: they'll destroy a world to protect their reputation. 2. Whoever was coming after me knew me better than some basic intel file. I never mentioned in the official debriefs working with the Cracksty, especially that ship. Now, it wouldn't be impossible to deduce through detective work, but that means someone was looking. 3. This wasn't a coincidence. The ever mysterious they knew I would be assigned to this adventure before me. The Cracksty Bruti had docked there for a week and a half. I'd only been relaxing in the station for 3 days. It was one of their normal stops, and since my schedule, including the occasional gambling tournament, is often public for cover reasons, it wasn't a bad setup. The most likely theory would be someone at Delilah Station wanting to head off the investigation. But it could be more. Perhaps an old enemy knew what I was being ordered and simply hijacked the situation. But my instincts told me no. Either way, they weren't done. Part of the training in my agency is what I like to call weaponized cosmopolitism. There is no one from whom we don't learn. My favorite adaptation was the molecular flex armor, otherwise called the perfect dress. A one-size-fits-me, miraculous and fabulous piece for all seasons. Over 5,000 pre-programmed looks, which each can be adjusted for color, fabric, and 1 or 2 surprises. Barry, the technical wonder who put it together, did it all based on my little idea. So within 4 steps, I went from a colorful, sunlit, painted dress to a scandalous orange bikini. It's not scandalous because of the cut, mind you. Delilah is not prudish, no. It's just that when I walk into a room, scandal can't be helped. The For Every Occasion ensemble additionally protects from most stabbings, distant lasers, a variety of blunt traumas, but the ability to hide weaponry while wearing almost nothing is what brings me joy. However, it does need to recharge after about 4 days. That's when the molecules get unstable. If I'm still inside, it could crush me, or simply accidentally create a knife to decorate my spleen. But what's the point of fashion without risk? My solar shades were not part of that wondrous ensemble, but they were a central part of any breakfast. With a click, one lens reflected into mirror mode, so I could see who might be trailing after me. The other rotated through various channels, picking up crews, languages, signal strength, anything to indicate my conversation had created a stir. They hadn't been aware of my arrival, I was fairly confident, since I'd snuck aboard with a group of Franciscan nuns. But I'd just announced my presence. About halfway to the pool, I spotted the increase in quantum radio frequency. So this wasn't official, or at least they wanted plausible deniability. So the first burst did not emanate from our adorable little Michael. Barry, during their conversation, monitored that possibility. So who else? Cameras leer aplenty. Even more tourists shuffle along. I smile at friendly-looking guards on every corner. Far too much background noise for me to get an exact link to this burst signal. And no one follows me either. The main casino finally ends with its golden walls and mirrored ceilings, and the pool beckons. When I arrive, the only eyes on me are the ones with taste. A predator gaze suited for pleasure, not business. And I must admit, Delilah Station draws from every corner of our discovered universe. Serves up the sinners. It's a shame I don't make my way out here more often. Drink, mademoiselle. A waiter appears at my side, and I instinctively take the offered beverage. My favorite. I assume casinos like this do a base scan. They examine your last 3 meals, which is 7 or 8 drinks, depending on how recently you've indulged. A quick counter scan on my part indicates no obvious poisons or sensitivities. So I sit, lick my lips, and say thank you. The advantage of knowing you're being hunted is it's very easy to lure a predator. Simply find a good bit of sun, relax, and lie in wait. A number of non-assassins will definitely approach me, but the real one? He'd be the man I find interesting. My taste in lovers is atrocious, very bad for me, dangerous. So if I like their smile, it's a good sign he's trying to kill me. Excuse me, someone sitting here? All right, evil mastermind, you don't have to overdo it. The man, metaphorically and literally eclipsing the sun, pushes silvery currents of soaking wet hair out of his eyes, solid as a Grecian statue with the crushing intensity of a black hole. He's already taken the seat next to me, and I smile. Seems you've already decided. Needed the pleasure of hearing your voice. It's a deal breaker for me. You'd walk away from perfection if it squeaked. Depends on the pitch. But as a musician, I need to keep up the reputation. Looking for a new lead singer? Sure, if that's what you want to hear. I'm not an honest man. Meaningless flattery works for me. Just didn't think you'd fall for that. Or? No. Enjoy? Depends on how skilled the lie. But what approach are you going to take instead? Please, thrill me. Direct, but not vulgar. During this conversation, I have to take your hand at some point. He does. Gotta gauge your reaction. Very receptive. I'm on vacation and open to new experience. I gotta invite you for drinks later. Then I'd walk away so you could watch me. Would you go in that direction? There's a mirror. You could see my face when I think no one's looking. Smooth. I gotta remember that. No, I usually dash to the bar and flirt with one of my pretty friends. Work up the jealousy. More the anticipation. When you see how she laughs, you'll know we had a good time. I am very observant. Most people are. But it's all the instinct. We'd be happier if we simply followed our hearts. I interrupt. Sure. Let's be romantic. You can be anything I imagine. What's the name? I'll need to know later tonight. Oh, what's tonight? Dinner and a show. You're a musician, right? I do love local music. Everywhere in the universe. Tell me where you're playing, and then we can get dessert. Didn't have a gig set up for tonight. Oh, shame. That's when I'm available. Fine. There's a spot, a rougher section of the resort. There's a band there, doesn't mind when I step in. Time and place, and your name? I go by Orion. Perfect. And I'm not scared. You'll protect me. He scribbles the location on my napkin, then steps away as promised. He takes my mirror route, and I let him see the obvious glance at his perfect back. He had at least 80 pounds and 3 inches on me, no idea to his training, though he didn't seem particularly lethal. Probably knew how to hide it. Though there's always a chance he would simply lead me to the place where I could be killed. I caressed the communicator in my ear. Barry's chosen a new room and made his inspection. Everything seems safe. These people can go weeks without sleeping, but then they have to hibernate for a few days. Very useful on most missions. I send him the pictures I've snapped of Orion. As I make my way to our suite, Barry transfers what he's found. The name Orion appears on local billboards and a few self-paid holo concerts, meaning one of the producing bodies in the system does not approve of our boy. They go back a while, though, although most of the concerts are new, no pictures, easy to impersonate. I hope he's a hired gun, I tell Barry as I walk through the door. They don't shoot them dead nearly as often. True believers, on the other hand, they never go down willingly. While Barry cooks a delicious, energizing, but not too filling dinner, I review the recordings. Michael used approximately 31 keystrokes more than typical during our conversation, and from what I can tell from the partial reflections in his glasses, my reservation had indeed been cancelled and partially deleted. Michael's confusion probably came from that. I sent a rose as a thank you, one of my own from a system on the other corner of the galaxy. If one is inclined to give gifts, they should cost something. As I sip my wine, I research my evening appointment and see rough section was an understatement. Centered within 4 cubic miles of twisting airlocks, resource hubs, and crew quarters who'd launched open revolts a half-dozen times just in the last century, 3 against the independent Delilah government. These kinds of places attract revolutionaries, romantics, fascists, gangsters, communists, prostitutes, and the folks who realize too late they're happily status quo. A few likely architects of the trap pass through my mind. The first I dismiss almost immediately. While anarchists and certain brutal revolutionaries would certainly have the skill and means to lead me into their clutches, they lacked access to the trade route, or frankly, the connections inside my own organization to know who was coming. That didn't mean the true enemy didn't have influence. Simply knowing I was a covert agent for the Union would be a capital offense. So, time for a disguise. Pretending to be someone from Delilah? Out of the question. If this had been Earth, or the Atreidian Confederacy, sure. I've done extensive training and long-term work there. But the height of arrogance is assuming I can fool reactionary planet-first diehards. So best play to their perceptions. The Mordecai have been thorns in the Union's side since we first went into space. Slightly more muscular than the standard human, with stripes and reflective predatory eyes, it's not a shock that the early Homo sapiens called them catfolk, not accurate, but evocative. A non-centralized people by nature, they often go about the universe causing all sorts of ruckus. My go-to identity for the various underworlds. Her name is Ibi Alashtar, and over the years I've developed a reputation and a backstory. They almost never come up. I don't do long-term assignments with her, not anymore. Barry, make sure the genome tattoo works to my exact specifications. I instruct before leaving out the window. My one-size-fits-all dress shimmers into a reflective barrier for the cameras. Someone is paying very close attention. But an electronic voyeur might see a shimmer in the air. And that's all. Now, time for a party. Music echoes with pain and sex, furiate generations of oppression and the non-stop impulse to produce more. Orion knows how to play. Not brilliant, but considering he's an assassin and not a bassist, he could be worse. He keeps looking into the sea of screaming, punching, and weeping fans, but does not see me. I'm in his sightline, but there is no reason for him to connect the sensual sunbather from that afternoon with the vicious Mordecai at the bar. The trap does not make itself clear from simple recognizance. Lots of folks here are armed. A few dozen illegal and immoral deals are happening every 34 seconds. One poor sucker shivers in the corner. He clearly owes someone money. But my own hunters are nowhere to be found. Time to escalate. I drop 3 gold cubes on the bar to buy a drink for my date and have the bartender write a note. Don't normally do this for bass players, but I'm in the mood for dessert. Alley corridor, 3 minutes. 5 minutes, and I find a guitarist. Watching the intense change of expression as the message passes to him makes me laugh. Orion definitely wants to enjoy me before he summoned the kill squad. Or maybe our intrepid bard is the kind of psychotic who enjoys murder during passion. Does seem like my type. Unfortunately, neither of us would find out, because as he passes me to find the alley, I push my hidden blaster up against his spine and whisper, "Bathroom." He tenses, but doesn't bolt. Enough crazy in a place like this, so no one bothers to intervene. Not like the music suffered. I chose a single-stall toilet, large enough I can keep him at arm's length, but small enough he won't manage an escape. Locking the door behind me, I let my voice shine through. "Miss me, Orion?" Whoa! His eyes widen into clueless little spheres. Is this your idea of, kinky roleplay? 'Cause this is a lot. Sticking to your story, eh? Let's make this easy. You have 15 seconds to tell me who hired you to try and kill me. If you don't answer in the allotted time, 1 shot slices through your foot. Then we'll have 30 seconds before I put one through your heart. I'm not worried. Your employer will simply send someone else to try to kill me, and I'll offer them the same deal. Eventually, one of you happy minions will talk. Why not make it easy for me and survivable for you? Surprise doesn't cross his face, or anger, or hurt pride. Only sheer terror. Whoa, what are you talking about? I just thought you were hot, 'cause of this place? It's only somewhere I play. I don't want to hurt you. 5 seconds. Do you think you can be more convincing in 10? Alright, you got me. I was hired by Corey Fortunato, yeah. 'Cause he wanted that diamond, the one on your hand. Swear, it wasn't my idea. 10 seconds. He... Oh God, what do you want to know? I just thought you were hot. Veronica Starr does not miss. So when I put the blast less than a centimeter from his heel, that was on purpose. He shouts, "Listen, I don't know anything." Who told you to speak to me? No one. Or maybe... I didn't get his name, but a big guy with a hat. This is when I begin to get nervous. He doesn't know a thing. This second-rate bass player is no killer. He's not even bait. At least, not at first. The music stops. You're going to want to run, Orion, once I open this door. But as I try, it won't budge. And that's when I hear the gentle hiss of gas pouring in. I don't suppose you'd accept an apology, I say, as consciousness slips away. No grogginess, simply conscious thought re-emerging. A timed agent. We are back in the casino. The glistening reflective gold and silver. But the floor is completely see-through. Below me, hundreds of patrons drink, laugh, cry, without a soul looking up. The mirrored ceilings. One-way glass. The room itself pulses with curved scientific instruments, blinking lights, and 7 large screens. Cameras. I recognize the communication bridge of Commodore Talleyrand in the diplomatic corps room. Nothing holds me in place, except my muscles won't move. Orion, on the other hand, lies on a cot in the middle of a floating glass cube. In front of me, holding a laser, stands Michael. The rose I had sent him, decorated lovingly on his chest. He's turned it into a corsage. I thought we had something, Michael, I say. Not my call. Boss wanted to get this done. And who is that, your boss? A confused expression crosses his face. I'm not sure. But I get my answer. He is unable to remember Mademoiselle Starr. The door slides open, and a completely unremarkable man steps into the room, holding, without being shaved, chubby but not obese, a tired expression, but not depressed or tragic. Dusty purple skin tone, large ears are all that differentiate him from a human barrister. He could have been filling out paperwork anywhere in the galaxy. Instead, he has me trapped. A pleasure, Mademoiselle Starr. A pleasure and an honor. No one in my line of work isn't aware of your spectacular reputation, even if most don't know it's you. Believe me, I had truly hoped Commodore Talleyrand would not send you. Maybe Alexander or Sasha. They're efficient, but often none of your style. The cosmos is more beautiful with you in it. Now that's flattery. Let me loose and you can tell me more. Tempting, but sadly, this will be our final encounter. I have invested far too much time in these experiments to leave them behind without due cause. Delilah will be compromised soon. So now is the time to leave. But we have to purchase some additional days and weeks now, don't we? Orion's being bathed in a patented shower of atria particles. That, along with my neural rewriter, should give him the strength and desire to kill you. Not all at once, of course. Once he's finished learning his lines, I'll do the same with you. At least you will enjoy these final weeks. Game programmed, it should at least be plausible. Then you can continue to send reports for about a month before Orion murders you. By the time your Commodore sends his next agent, I will be gone. Adieu. Michael, if my brilliant scheme begins to unravel, shoot them both. Aim to kill. The big-eared villain turns immediately, exiting the door through which he arrived. I like her flower, the front desk boy says absent-mindedly. Oh, I know. I'll put one on your grave. That's nice. He smiles, and I know it was supposed to be comforting. Well, that's another world saved, doomed, and or slightly weirder than we found it. Either way, you made it.
And when you're ready to plunge back into the abyss, we'll be here, lurking, whispering.
If you liked today's episode, tell a friend. If you hated today's episode,
you can find us on Substack, YouTube, or wherever you scream into the void about podcasts. Drop us a comment. Send us your thoughts in all caps. We love that. You're charming.
And hey, if you want to help keep these stories weird and our tea hot, you can throw some coins our way on Substack. It keeps the lights on. Literally, Lane is writing in the dark.
Paperback Radio, no ads, professional narrators, and humanish weirdos telling you strange tales week after week. After week, after week, after week.
We told you to stay in the back room, Lizzie. Thanks for wandering through the chaos with Paperback Radio.
See you next time.